I want to tell you about a woman I saw at marathon finish line a couple years ago. She was 73 years old. Most runners she started with had already quit 30 years after most of her doctors had probably told her to take it easy. Running at 70 is not random. It's built by a specific set of decisions most runners over 40 might not be making. I am going to show you exactly what those decisions are. I'm Dr. Sandesh Pandit, board certified sports medicine physician, 7-time marathon runner. 3 things shift. Number 1, your ankles quiet down. Older runners produce less ankle power, less torque, less range of motion. Your ankle is the spring at the end of your leg, and if the spring loses some of its bounce, it's why the older runners naturally shorten their stride. Number 2, your stride shrinks. Speed in older runners declines almost entirely because of the stride length, not stride rate. Your cadence stays about the same. Your legs don't reach as far forward. Number 3, your knees stiffen up. Older runners show more knee stiffness at impact. That stiffness transmits force up through the joint instead of absorbing it in the muscles. Greater knee stiffness significantly increase your injury odds every year a little more. For women, there is one more layer in your 40s, and I want to name this clearly because it doesn't get talked about enough. Estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone, it's a structural hormone too. Estrogen keeps your tendons supple, your bones dense, your blood vessel elastic, your inflammation is regulated. Perimenopause, menopause. Here's what research shows in the female endurance athlete between 40 and 60. 63% report joint and muscular discomfort. 88% report sleep problems. 83% report physical exhaustion. 67% report weight gain. You are not imagining it. The body that you're running on had changed, not broken, changed. And this is where the 5 rules matter most. Rule number 1 is strength is no longer optional because your body has started quietly losing muscles every year. Running does not stop that process, only loading does. Hip and core strength program reduced lower extremity injuries by 34% and reduced overuse injury by as much as 52%. No shoe, no supplement, no massage gun, no magic shock that comes close to that number. The single most protective thing a running over 40 can do for their joints is to lift 2 or 3 sessions per week, 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Squats, deadlifts, single leg work, core, nothing fancy, but consistent. For women specifically, this is also your bone health strategy. Falling estrogen pulls calcium out of the bone. Strength training puts the stress back into the bone and tells it to rebuild. You're not just training for your next race, you are training for your hip at 75. Quick gift. I put together a free recipe card for what I call the triple A smoothie. It's what I drink after long runs to help my 40 plus body recover like it's 30 or something. Link is in the description. Rule number 2, run quiet. One of the most elegant findings in recent running research is gait retraining. Teaching yourself to land softer reduced knee injury risk by nearly two-thirds from running more quietly. If someone sitting on a park bench could hear your footsteps across the lawn, your body hears those footsteps too, every one of them. Increase your cadence by 5 or 10%. Land your foot closer to your body instead of reaching out in the front. Imagine you're running in sleeping baby's floor. Your knees, your hips, your shins, they don't care how fast you're going. They care how loud the landing is. Run quiet, run long. Rule number 3 is train the load, not the ego. Every additional mile per week you add raises your injury risk by about 2%. Every additional year of age adds another 7%. And the stronger predictor of your next injury is your last one. Marathon training plans you rip off internet are often built for young male bodies. 20% mileage jumps, back-to-back hard days, speed work on tired legs. A 40 plus body, especially a female 40 plus body, usually cannot absorb that. Not because there is anything wrong with it, because it was never designed to. So the rule is simple. Progress slowly, progress boringly. Recovery weeks every third or 4 weeks. A long run that build in small steps, not leaps. Your ego wants the fast ramp, your body wants the slow one. The runners still running at 70 listened to their body. Rule number 4, recovery is the workout. This is the one I have to keep reminding myself too, because when you love running, your instinct is always to do more. But the truth is, the actual improvement, the adaptation doesn't happen during the run. It happens in the hours, that days after the run. If you don't give your body that window, you don't get the adaptation. You just get the damage. Sleep is the biggest one. In female endurance athletes over 40, 88% report sleep problem. 88%. If sleep is broken, recovery is broken. No amount of foam rolling is going to fix that. Protect sleep like you protect your long run. Sleep is the part of training. Fuel is the second one. Women over 40 consistently undereat for their training, especially protein. Aim for protein at every meal. Eat something within 30 to 60 minutes of a hard run. This is not optional training. This is repair material. And rest days are not lazy days. Rest days are construction days. Your body is rebuilding itself on those days. Let it do that. Rule number 5, the long game is won in the ordinary weeks. Running for life is not won in the marathon that you're training right now. It's won in the month of the Mars 3 years from now when nothing exciting is happening and you're still going out for a run. It's won in the boring, unposted, unwitnessed miles. The research on lifelong runners is consistent. They are not the fastest. They are not the most talented. They are the most consistent. If you want to run at 70, the secret is not a fancy training plan. The secret is that keeps showing up at 45, 50, 55, 60 every year, every month. Mostly easy, occasionally hard, always present. Now, back to our 73-year-old friend at the finish line. Here's the truth about her. She was not gifted. Now, I've met dozens of runners like her in my clinic, and one thing they all share is that somewhere in their 40s or 50s, they made a quiet decision not to keep running in the way they always had, but to keep running differently, loud about their recovery, quiet on their feet. And they kept that decision for 30 years. That's it. You can run for life, not as a slogan, as a plan. And this is the plan. I'm Dr. Sandesh Pandit. This is your channel for running after 40, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep running for life.